Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Zephyr here, and we're going to be doing another Off the Cuff today. I wanted to talk about the liberal agenda, liberal left, and why I don't openly consider myself a liberal anymore. I'm kind of not sure how I'm going to go about talking about this one, because this is kind of a touchy subject for a lot of people, and I try my best not to piss people off. I really do. I don't want to be the guy that makes people angry. I guess I have to sometimes because, you know, everybody needs some haters or whatever. But my ultimate goal with my channel is to help people improve and to improve myself as well. So, I considered myself a liberal for a very long time. Oh no, there you go. I considered myself a liberal for a very long time, like all of my teenage years. I guess as a child, probably too. I don't really think we have very much of a political agenda as a kid, right? I mean, we don't really know what's going on. So, the reason that I'm afraid to publicly call myself a liberal, whenever I'm out talking to people, is if you look at, you know, the way that liberals are portrayed by the press and the way that they act, at least the ones that get press coverage, you know, they're all portrayed as these like idiot, hippie, aggressive. Yeah, turn around, bitch. You know, all these they're portrayed as like these aggressive hippie fucks, and like I don't. Come on. And I don't particularly... Fuck me. Oh, this is not... No, not while I'm trying to fucking talk, man. Come on. They're all portrayed as these, like... hippie, aggressive... Like, for instance, the Antifa shit that recently went on. Like, thank God that shit's coming to a close. Fuck off. But, like, a lot of times you see them fucking... causing trouble and riots and shit. It's like, I thought that we were supposed to be people of peace. I thought we were supposed to represent something good. You know, I thought we were supposed to represent equality and freedom and all these great things. But from what I've seen about people, and granted, you know, it's not a large scale, you know, it's like little small pockets of us that have really, really loud fucking voices and we're screaming and yelling and throwing tantrums. But the fact that so many people feel like that's what liberals have become, it makes me afraid to admit to being a liberal in public. Like, social justice groups, man, I don't believe that social justice groups are the way to go. Like, back in the fucking 60s, whenever there was, like, real oppression in the world, yeah, I could understand standing by a specific group of people, because back then they needed it. We don't need that shit anymore. In modern America, if you want something, I think that the way to go about getting it is to fucking do something about it. But with that said, there are stipulations. You can't fucking throw tantrums and riot in the streets and shit. You know, it's like rioting. It's fucking the dumbest thing. It's the dumbest thing. You make yourself and everyone that you're trying to represent look fucking ignorant and stupid. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know how to fucking talk about this. I really don't. Fucking, I don't want to generalize. I really don't, and I don't want to be generalized. I don't want everyone to be generalized into one group or, you know, whatever. And I think that's part of the reason that I don't particularly like the new totems of liberalism, because a lot of things are generalized. You got, for instance, your Black Lives Matter, and then people who support that and follow that, and people who don't. Either you do or you don't. There's no, like, middle ground. You can't be middle ground here for some odd reason. Like whenever I talk to people who are in support of Black Lives Matter, they say, oh yeah, you agree with us, you just don't want us to label you. And then whenever I talk to people that aren't Black Lives Matter, they say, you know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just good at seeing every side to the story. I don't fucking know. So. I think that these groups, they drive us apart more than anything else. They give us a reason to argue and fight with one another if there wasn't already one. And whenever there is one, it just gives us more reason to argue and fight, more reason to hate on one another. I don't think that you should generalize an entire group because of one person's actions, or you generalize an entire people because of one group's actions. For instance, generalizing all Muslims because of Al-Qaeda, or generalizing all Muslims because of the Manchester attacks. Like, granted, I believe that religion in general harbors and promotes negativity, harbors and promotes destruction, harbors and promotes violence. But I don't believe that because one person does something violent that you should ban or look down upon others of that particular group in a manner that you would ban or look down upon the particular individual that did or promoted said violence. Like, one person isn't a group. Even if you don't agree with a group, or you don't agree with the ideas of a group, one person does not represent that entire group. You know what I mean? Like, even, for instance, the President of the United States of America does not represent me as a person. Even my own fucking... And people would say, oh, but he does. He's your fucking leader. But, like, one man does not have the ability to make a decision for all of the people. And even if that man does, let's say me as an individual, I don't have the power to say that he is not my president. I don't have the power vested within me to say that that man is not my president, because he was elected by, some would say selected, but if the official story is correct, then he was elected by the majority of people, and I am not the majority of people. Therefore, I cannot just say, you know, oh, well, he's not mine. You know, like the whole "he's not my president" hashtag, that shit is fucking one of those ignorant bullshit. He is your fucking president, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that you have to agree with what he represents, or he has to represent you, or whatever, you know? You don't have to agree with him, you don't have to align with him. It's fucking, we live in a country, thank God, or whatever you believe in, or whatever. I'm not a man of faith, it's just a figure of speech to me. Thank whatever that we live in a country where you're allowed to speak out against your leaders. Because if we weren't, then we'd probably be fucked. Like, there are a lot of countries... What the fuck? There are a lot of countries where you'd be stoned for speaking out against your fucking leaders. And I hope that we don't make it to that. I hope we don't ever make it to that. It's terrifying to me. You know, there's a part of me that thinks, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm, you know, 15, 20 years from now, I'm going to be the Holocaust denier of the 2010s. I'm going to be the guy that didn't agree with the status quo. I'm going to be the guy that was stupid and ignorant and stuck in the past. I don't know. I just try really hard to rationalize things in a manner that makes sense, that's objective, that's measurable. I mean, am I wrong for that? Am I wrong for wanting real world answers to things? Am I wrong for... I don't know, guys. This subject is really hard to fucking talk about, honestly. It's like, even though right now I'm sure not a whole lot of people are going to hear about it, this is going up on my channel, and I vowed whenever I started my channel not to delete any videos, which means at some point, you know, hundreds of people could see this, thousands maybe even. And even if my views change, a lot of people don't like to let that stuff down. My views change, you know, a decade from now. People will be like, oh, well, one time way back when he said this. It's like, I don't know. I'm just not down with the whole. I don't know, a lot of the liberal agendas of today. I don't see where the appeal to them is anymore. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.